All right, ready to dive in. We've got two missing person cases. They're going to keep us guessing, that's for sure. So get ready. We're looking into the disappearances of Ben McDaniel and Kenneth Playstead.
Two guys just gone, vanished, and decades apart,
Yeah.
Totally different situations, really. But what connects them is, well, the mystery, the not knowing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking underwater caves in Florida, missing money in Wisconsin, and it gets weird. We've got articles, reports, documentaries, the whole shebang. Where do we even begin with all this?
Well, let's start with Ben McDaniel.
Right, Ben McDaniel, August 2010, Vortex Spring, Florida. Beautiful spot, but it's got a bit of a creepy nickname, the Divers Cemetery.
And it's not called that for nothing, that's for sure. Vortex Spring, it's a whole cave system underwater. And cave diving, let me tell you, that's not your average day at the beach, It's dangerous, really dangerous. 6 people had already died there before Ben McDaniel even went in.
6 people. Man, you think that'd make anyone think twice?
You'd think, right?
But Ben, he was an experienced diver. He knew the risks. Everyone said so. But he dives in, and poof, gone.
And that's where this whole thing starts, the mystery. Everyone thought, well, he must be stuck in the cave somewhere, right?
Right.
So they send in the best divers, had cadaver dogs, helicopters, the works, searching for over a month. Nothing.
Wow, a whole month. That's intense.
It was a huge search. And then this guy, Ed Sorensen, one of the best cave divers out there, he goes in, takes a look around, comes back up and says, nope, Ben McDaniel is not in these caves.
Not in the caves, just like that.
Just like that. Bold statement to make, right? But he had his reasons. He said there was no, disturbance in the sediment. You see, when a diver moves through a cave, they stir up the silt on the bottom, leaves a trail. No trail.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. You'd think if he was, lost or trapped, there'd be some signs of a struggle.
Exactly, but hold on, there's more. They found some of Ben's diving gear. Yeah, his decompression tanks. And this is where it gets strange. Some were full. Some were empty, just scattered around in weird spots, and some parts were missing from the tanks.
Missing parts? That's odd.
And get this, even the way his name was written on some of the tanks looked different.
Okay, now that's suspicious. So did people think maybe he faked the whole thing?
Well, some did, yeah. Maybe those tanks were, a distraction. Plus, Ben, he had some secrets.
Secrets? Like what?
Money problems, a few run-ins with the law. Apparently, he even had a fake Facebook profile, used it to flirt with women. He was married, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so not exactly a saint then. We've got a possible motive, strange clues. Seems like he might have wanted a new life somewhere.
Yeah, some people thought that, but his family, they were heartbroken. They said that wasn't the Ben they knew at all.
What did they think happened?
They said he'd never abandoned his family, especially after his brother had recently passed away. It was a lot for them. It makes you think, who is Ben McDaniel, really?
Yeah, was he this family man or was there something else going on?
That's the question. And if he did want to vanish, wouldn't he take all his gear? Why leave those tanks behind?
Right. Why leave those tanks?
Yeah.
Doesn't really add up.
It doesn't, does it? And that's why people are still talking about it, even after all these years. Was it a hoax? Or did something happen to him down there? It's a tough one.
Definitely a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you think it's like trying to solve a puzzle, but half the pieces are missing.
Exactly. And just when you think you might, have a clue, this case throws you in another curveball. Remember the reward Ben's family offered? Information leading to,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it seems like it might have had some unintended consequences.
You mean like with Larry Higginbotham?
Exactly, Larry Higginbotham.
It's so sad what happened to him. He died diving in Vortex Spring 2 years after Ben disappeared. His family said it was an accident, but
Yeah.
some of his friends said he was obsessed with finding Ben.
That's right. He was all over those online forums, following every lead, every rumor. He really wanted to find Ben, or at least, find something that would lead to that reward.
It shows you how these cases, they're not just stories,
Yeah.
They can have real consequences.
Yeah, real consequences, sometimes tragic ones.
Speaking of people who got drawn into this whole thing, we can't forget Jill Heiner.
Jill Heiner, yeah. Top cave diver, really one of the best. She decided to check out Vortex Spring herself, documented the whole thing, made a documentary, called it Ben's Vortex.
I saw that. Really gives you a feel for just how dangerous those caves are.
Oh, absolutely. And her conclusion, same as Ed Sorensen, Ben wasn't there.
Not in the caves at all?
Nope. But, and this is interesting, she found something down there at the end of the mapped part of the cave.
What? Like a clue?
A shovel. A folding shovel.
A shovel? What's a shovel doing in an underwater cave?
Good question. People started saying maybe it was Ben's, maybe he used it to, like, dig further into the cave system.
To get past where anyone had explored before.
Right, but here's the thing. Remember, Ben used to dive with a small shovel sometimes.
I remember reading that, yeah, to move debris or whatever.
Yeah. But Ben's father said the shovel Jill found, it belonged to another diver. This guy, Steve Keene, who helped map the caves years ago.
Oh, okay, so not Ben's shovel then.
Nope, not Ben's shovel.
Man, it's like every time we get close, it's a dead end. So frustrating.
I know. And then there's the whole thing with the owner of Vortex Spring. Remember him?
Vaguely.
He was accused of assaulting an employee.
Yeah.
Some people were saying maybe he knew something about what happened to Ben.
Oh, right. But he died before anyone could ask him anything.
Exactly. Died in an accident. So whatever he knew, if he knew anything, it went with him.
Wow. Just so many loose ends. Did he fake it? Did he die in the caves? Foul play.
We may never know.
It's hard not knowing.
It is. But hey, you know what? We've got another mystery to dive into, and this one's a real head-scratcher, too.
Yeah, let's talk about Kenneth Playstead. Back in 1971, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a lawyer just vanishes. Poof.
And just like with Ben McDaniel, there are parts of this. They just don't add up. His car was found, windows down, glove compartment empty, but nothing valuable was missing.
That is strange.
And his hat on the ground outside the car.
It's almost like someone wanted it to look like he just wandered off, you know?
Exactly. And that's what the police thought at first, too. They were checking train stations, bus stops, airports, nothing. Then they looked into his finances.
And found out about the embezzlement.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Kenneth was writing checks to himself from this family trust he managed, over $65,000.
In 1971, that's got to be a lot of money.
A lot of money. More than $500,000 in today's money, yeah. And he was sneaky about it. He'd move money from the trust's savings account to its checking account, then write himself a check.
So it seems pretty obvious, right? He took the money and ran.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But there's a twist. The money. Gone. Just like him.
Wait, what? But if he didn't take the money, then where'd it go?
That's the million-dollar question. And it gets even more complicated when you add in his legal secretaries. 2 of them. They admitted to writing checks for him, but they said they thought it was for, like, advance payments for his work on the trust.
So were they in on it or not?
Who knows? Maybe they were clueless. Maybe they were helping him. We just don't know. And then there's Kenneth himself. Before he disappeared, he got real secretive about the trust. Evasive. Like he was hiding something.
So maybe it wasn't a simple embezzlement case after all.
Maybe not. Remember, this was the 70s. Record keeping wasn't what it is today.
Right.
What if he found something else going on, some other shady business with the trust? And that's what he was trying to hide.
So not protecting himself, but trying to expose something.
It's possible. Could explain why he was so secretive and why he vanished without the money.
Yeah, but why not go to the police? Why disappear?
Well, maybe he felt threatened, like he couldn't trust anyone. Remember, we don't know the whole story here. We don't know who else might have been involved.
It gets more and more mysterious by the minute.
Doesn't it? And get this, even though he was missing, they still went after him legally.
Really?
Yeah, his wife filed for abandonment, and then there were the theft charges, 26 counts of them, for that missing trust money. Then they hit him with tax evasion charges, said he hadn't filed taxes in years.
Well, they really piled it on.
Didn't they? Makes you wonder, were they trying to, like, pressure him into coming back? Or were they just trying to sort out the legal mess, whether he was around or not?
It's hard to say.
And then you've got the FBI. They were sure Kenneth was alive. They even thought they were tracking him to Connecticut, maybe even Florida.
Wasn't there some weird classified ad in a Tampa newspaper?
Yeah, that's right. It was like a roommate wanted ad, but it said to send replies to a P.O. box in Connecticut.
Didn't it say something like, care of Danielson?
Yeah, care of Danielson. Who Danielson? A code, a message, a random detail. No one knows.
So many questions.
And while the FBI is looking for him, rumors are flying. People saying they saw him in Europe, others saying he was in South America.
A real international man of mystery.
Right. But then, after 7 years, nothing. No confirmed sightings. They declared him legally dead.
Oh, wow. 7 years. That's a long time.
It is, but that meant his family could finally get his life insurance money. And get this, he had 5 policies.
5. Why so many? Makes you wonder.
Right. Was he planning something? Was he afraid? No one knows. But here's where it gets interesting, and kind of like Ben McDaniel's case. Kenneth's family started to think he was murdered.
They couldn't believe he would just leave.
Especially his son, Michael. He did his own investigation, went through all his dad's paperwork, and he found something interesting. IOUs. For all those withdrawals from the trust fund.
Wait, IOUs? So maybe he wasn't actually stealing the money.
That's what Michael thinks. He says his dad was forced to take the money. Threatened. Coerced.
Forced by who and why?
We don't know. Michael never said publicly who he thought was behind it. It's like someone's playing with us, you know?
Yeah, it's like one of those mystery books, and just when you think you've got it figured out, bam, twist ending.
Exactly. But this is real life. It's not a game. And for those families, there's no real ending, just questions.
Yeah, it's sad. Not knowing, did they leave? Did something bad happen to them?
And I think that's why these cases, they stick with you. We all want to know what happened. We want answers.
We want to solve the puzzle.
Yeah. But sometimes there are no answers. We're just left with more questions.
So what do you think? What are your theories? What stuck out to you?
For me, with Ben McDaniel, it's the fact that there's just nothing in the cave. If he
Right?
didn't die in the caves, then where did he go? What if it wasn't about diving at all?
You're saying like something happened outside the caves.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe someone was waiting for him when he came up. Maybe he was meeting someone. We just don't know.
That's kind of creepy to think about. But you're right, we just don't know.
And with Kenneth Playstead, it's the car. If he was murdered, like his son thinks,
Right.
why leave the car like that? Windows down?
But-
in such a public place, it doesn't make sense.
Unless it was on purpose to throw people off.
Maybe. Could be a classic misdirection play, you know? Make it look like he just took off, when really...
Something else happened.
Yeah.
So many questions, so few answers. It's enough to make your head spin. But I guess that's what we love about these cases, right? They make us think.
They do. They remind us that even with all the technology, all the science we have, some mysteries just stay mysteries.
Well, if you're as hooked on these cases as we are, check out our website. We've got links to articles, documentaries, all sorts of stuff.
Maybe you'll spot something we missed. Some tiny detail that cracks the case wide open.
And if you've got theories of your own, let us know. Leave a comment. Let's get a discussion going. Sometimes the best way to solve a mystery is together.
That's right. We can all be detectives, right?
Until next time, keep those thinking caps on and keep searching for the truth. You never know what you might find.